everyone, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Amarilis Singh and I'm very happy to be today's Maker Spotlight for the Long Island Explorium. Today we're going to be learning how to make a COVID-19 mask for healthcare workers. These masks are going to be donated to hospitals that are in need of them. The materials that you need to get started are your pattern, 9 inches by 7 inches, your cotton fabric, something to trace the pattern onto the fabric like a marker or chalk, your sewing pins or binder clips, elastic, or something else to wrap around the head. This elastic is too wide, so mine I'm going to slice it in half. If you have a thinner elastic, it works better. Scissors, ruler, tin tip pliers, wire, or something like a pipe cleaner or a twist tie. This is to be able to wrap the mask around the nose. You need an iron and you need a sewing machine or sewing needles and thread. Alright, let's get started. Alright, to get started, we're going to need that pattern, which is 9 inches by 7 inches. If you weren't able to print it out, you can just go ahead and measure on a piece of paper 9 inches by 7 inches. Make a rectangle and cut it out. Then I wrote here to fold, which means that when I have my fabric, I'm going to fold my fabric and then position that side of my rectangle to the very edge where it's folded. I am not cutting through here, I am just positioning it aligned to that. All right, then I'm going to hold my pattern and then use either a chalk or a marker to trace that. I like using chalk because chalk you could just dust off later. There it goes. Then I'm going to use my scissors. Some scissors won't cut fabric very easily. Try to find the sharpest scissors that you have in your house. There we go. Make sure that you're cutting the fabric double. All right, now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to use my iron to get these edges folded like this. Press that down about 1/2 inch. There we go. Now I'm going to sew from here to here and from here to here on both ends. Now that I have sewn on both my ends, I'm going to flip my fabric right side up and I'm going to bring those ends towards the center, overlapping each other about 1/2 inch. I'm going to either use my binder clips or sewing pins to hold them together. Now you're going to go back to the machine and sew all the way from here to here on both sides. Now that I've done the sewing on both sides, I have like a little pouch with an opening right in the middle. I'm going to take those corners, making sure that I don't cut through the stitch that you just did. You're going to cut little triangles on the ends to make sure that when we turn it inside out or right side out, that we have pointy corners. Now you can go ahead and turn it the right side out. And make sure that you get those corners, the tip of your fingers. This is what you have. And then we're gonna go ahead and press that. For the next step, I'm going to add the wire. Now I have this floor wire in my house that works really well, but you can also use twist ties or even pipe cleaners. Now to measure my wire, I just line it to the top of my mask, leaving about 1/2 inch on each side, and cut. Mine is thin enough that I can cut with regular scissors, but you could also use cutting pliers. Then I'm going to use a fine tip plier to roll up the ends so that it's not too sharp and goes to the fabric. There we go. Then I'm going to put it in towards and push it towards the top of my fabric, finding the center there, and my wire is right up here. Now I'm going to go on the machine and I'm going to create sort of like a little pocket, tiny pocket, to keep my wire up there, about 1/4 inch from the top down. And you're going to sew across. Make sure that when you're on the machine, you hold your wire and keep pushing it towards that edge to make sure that it stays inside the pocket that you're creating. Now this is what I have. There's the pocket right there. So now my wire is on the top, making it flexible to be able to wrap around that nose, and it doesn't go anywhere else in the mask. For the next step, I'm going to create pleats going down my mask, and by doing that, I'll just have the ruler next to me. My masks have been about 4 inches wide on the sides, but that can vary a little bit. It does not have to be precise. Just fold it down like this. Looks about that. And I just use those binder clips or sewing pins to hold that down. I have 2 folds on mine, but you can create more if you want. You can have smaller folds and have more than 2. It's totally up to you. And now I'm going to press it. Press that down. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring it to the machine, and I'm going to sew along the sides. All right, at this point I have my mask I sewed on both sides, and now I'm going to find a way to attach that mask to the head, right? So I have the elastic about 7 inches long is this one. Depending on how you attach your elastic, it might be shorter or longer. So you can attach it directly this way. Make sure that you sew through it twice at least to reinforce it. You can attach it this way by attaching it about 1/2 inch far from the edge and folding it over. That way that edge traps the elastic, making it a little bit sturdier and less likely to come off. This is the way that I've been doing mine, and I feel comfortable that they're not going to come off. You can use either the binder clips to hold this down or even the sewing pins. Another way that you can do this is, if you don't have elastic, fold about 1/2 inch and sew close to this end right here. And later on, you can put this through and use it to hold your mask with this and tie around the head. I think I'm going to use the elastic since it's what I have at hand, and I think it's easier for me to make mini masks by just doing this technique. So I'm going to go ahead and clip that in and sew on both sides. Now I'm going to go ahead and sew close to the elastic around here and here, all the way on both sides. All right, now I have sewed on both sides. So I have my elastic attached and everything looks like it's in its place, and that is my finished mask. All right, and there you have a completed mask. I hope you found this an easy way of making one, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.